Hi, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. Today we're going to be talking about second lesson, lesson 2 from Stonemont. Carry cash and be ready. If you're wondering, those of you who may not have read the books, the reason that we call this Lessons from Stonemont is because in the books, and we're still in the first few pages of the Reversion, there's quite a few lessons in here, so it'll take us a long time to get through all the lessons, but we'll take them kind of step by step, one by one. The reason we call it Lessons from Stonemont is because the book takes place centered around a property owned by the Wyatt family called Stonemont, located somewhere south of Kansas City. And where the book starts, Jim Wyatt, the head of the Wyatt family, is at a barbecue place up in Kansas City, standing in line getting some barbecue when the lights go out. And that's the gist of the books, is where it starts, is a grid down situation. I won't go into and ruin the plot for anybody who hasn't read it, but anyways, it's grid down. So he finds himself up there in line trying to get some barbecue, and lights out. All electricity's gone, so naturally, people can't process their credit cards and debit cards and things like that. He has cash, so he's able to get up and get some food. He has an idea what went on, and we kind of covered this in a previous Lessons from Stonemont, I believe. Being a prepared guy, and that's what this is all about. It's the story of a person who is very prepared, who has been working at it for a while, who out of a feeling of responsibility for his family and those around him, has put a lot of thought into what he should do in case of a situation like this. So he's a prepared guy. So he has cash with him, naturally. Lesson number 1, always have cash. And as other people are going away hungry because they've been relying on their on their ones and zeros digital money in their wallet, he's able to go up and get himself a nice big sack of barbecue to take home, if he can get home, which is about 25-30 miles south of where he is now. So he's able to get his food, and then he, without giving away too much of the story, he thinks, how long is it going to take him to get home? Well, 25 miles. A guy could walk that easily in a day in a good situation. But in a grid down situation, who knows? So he's thinking, he's going to try to make it home before dark, if not, hopefully before the next day. But even at that, you never know in an emergency situation, and it doesn't have to be a grid down. It can be a storm. It can be any number of things. A bridge collapse, like they experienced up in Minnesota some years ago, to where all of a sudden you're not able to get home, or it takes you longer than you would have anticipated otherwise. So as he's thinking about having to hoof it home with the bag that he always carries with him, and we call it a jick bag. A lot of people call these bags, depending on the specific use for them, they can call them bug-out bags or get-home bags or bob bags. All sorts of different things. We call them, in integrative preparedness, we call them JIC bags, J-I-C, for just in case. And we kind of load them up, just not for any particular situation, but to be able to kind of sustain us for whatever we think might put itself in our way, and sustain us for a few days until we can get from wherever we are to wherever we need to be. So he knows he has that load to carry. Plus now he's got some barbecue, and he gets to thinking, isn't there a better way to do this? And he thinks about a thrift shop that he knows about just a block or so away, and he goes down there, and he's able to get himself a mountain bike for $40, again, because he has cash. Now the two main lessons here are, and it applies to our daily lives, because this is what we talk about in integrative preparedness, that everything that we do for preparedness in the future should also apply and benefit us in our daily lives. Okay, so he's able to do this because he has cash, and because he was ready. Okay, he has what it takes to deal with the situation. He has what it takes to be able to get him from where he is to where he needs to be in his emergency kit and his JIC bag, and the cash to handle it with. Even now, everybody should carry cash, and a lot of people don't. And when I talk to people about this, so many people are just used to dealing with their debit cards and credit cards that cash just doesn't make any sense to them anymore, because it's so easy just to slide it or insert it or whatever. Well, in life, there are opportunities that come your way, and not all of them are debit and credit card friendly. There's a lot of equipment that you can get out there, a lot of resources, a lot of educational material at estate sales and garage sales and all sorts of places. And for them, a lot of them, they're not going to take your credit card. Okay, so and I love going places like that, and it's just amazing the kind of things that I've been able to pick up, equipment, tools, all sorts of things at garage sales, because I had cash. You never know when an opportunity is going to come your way. So part of preparedness is being able to maximize your options. With cash, you're able to maximize those options, and you're not always able to do that with. Well, I'll tell you one example. I was driving down through rural Missouri, and I busted a fan belt, and I was just a short ways from a small town that happened to have a garage. And as soon as I got in there, the first thing that I saw was a sign that said no checks and no credit cards. So because I had cash, I was able to get that thing taken care of. Otherwise, maybe I'd still be sitting there. Who knows? So anyway, carry cash for opportunities and for the occasional emergency. Along with this is being able to identify the next necessary step, and then having what it takes to take that step. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. He knew that what his next step needed to be. He needed to get home. Okay, and he had what it took to get him home. And then the third thing that I'll just kind of hook on here, although this kind of leads into a different lesson, and that is knowing your team, knowing where your team is. He knew where his family was. In the book, you'll read that he talks about he knew that his wife would be at home, because so he didn't have to worry about going someplace else to try to round up his family. His wife and kids would be at home because his wife had not told him that she was going to be anyplace else that day. And that's a very important part. Anybody who's ever had to, it doesn't matter whether it's a police team, a football team, or whatever it is, if you're not in good communications with the other people on your team, you have the recipe for a mess. But good communications will make things work smoothly, and so that's what you're after. So that's our short little lessons from Stonemont today. Again, we're still in the first few pages of the Reversion, and there's more. There's probably a couple years worth in here. Anyway, we'll move through this slowly, because I know a lot of people ask me about this, and some of the people that I happen to know who have read these, they bring me back their copies, and there's scratch marks and highlights and everything like this with their questions on it, which gives me the ideas of what to answer. So we'll leave it at that for now, and I'll try to do my second cool line sign off here without flubbing it. And if I do, who cares, right? Okay, and that is that we say, prepare well today so that you can live well tomorrow. With that, see you later. Bye-bye.